Hey, everybody. I am super excited to be starting a brand new unit with y'all. This is going to be graphing linear functions, talking about slope, talking about y-intercept. We're going to have points and tables and lines and all kinds of stuff. But before we can do any of that, we got to know some basic vocabulary. So we got to talk about the coordinate plane and all the vocabulary that comes with it. Hopefully, this, which maybe you call a graph, but it's called a coordinate plane, hopefully this doesn't seem completely unfamiliar to you. Okay, I've got 7 vocab words that we're going to label on here, starting with quadrants. And quad means 4, so that's why we have 4 quadrants here. And we're going to label them. This isn't something that you will be necessarily tested on in the 8th grade. But if you hear us using these words in the future, it's going to be really good for you to remember what they mean. So when we're doing the quadrants, when we're labeling those, quadrant 1 is right there. And then they follow the shape of a C, or they go counterclockwise for the remaining quadrants. So quadrant 2 is over here. Quadrant 3 is in the lower left. And quadrant 4 is in the lower right. The rest of my important vocabulary is origin, y-axis, x-axis. The origin is the point at the very center of the coordinate plane. If you remember, that has the coordinates 0, 0, but we're going to talk about that more in a minute. That's called the origin, right there in the middle. And then we have 2 axes. Those are the lines on the coordinate plane. So the y-axis is the vertical axis. It goes up and down. And the x-axis is the horizontal axis. It goes left and right. So those are all of the really important vocab words that you're going to need for the rest of this unit, but honestly, the rest of this year and the rest of the time you're in math classes ever. Okay? So if you got the vocab down, let's talk about plotting some points. All right. If we are graphing a point on a coordinate plane, and this is something you've probably done before, but it's a really good refresher, we use this thing called an ordered pair. And an ordered pair is written in parentheses, and it gives you 2 numbers, the x coordinate first, so how far left or right you go, and then it gives you the y coordinate second, so how far up or down you go. All right? We're going to graph all 6 of these points using an x and a y coordinate. So I'll go kind of slow on the first couple, and then we'll do the rest of them pretty quick. For point A, my x coordinate is positive 4, and my y coordinate is positive 3. So what that means is, on my x-axis, I'm going to go to positive 4. I'm really starting in the middle every time I'm graphing a point, and then I have to decide where is positive 4. Well, negative numbers are going to be to the left, positive numbers are going to be to the right. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right. Notice I didn't draw any bumps. I didn't do anything crazy like that. I'm just sort of hovering my pen right here above this point. I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but I'm not actually putting a point there. I went 4 to the right. And then my y coordinate is positive 3. And y tells me how far up or down I'm going to go. So positive numbers are going to be up. Negative numbers are going to be down. So I'm going to go up positive 3, 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to put a point there, and I'm going to label it A so we know what we've done. And that's where that lives. If you think of your ordered pair as directions, like go right to +4, go up to +3, maybe that'll be an easy way for you to remember that. Point B, my x is -2 and my y is +3. So it's going to be similar, except I go back to the origin to start, and I'm going to go left to -2, which this is the line that would be -2, but I am not filling this graph with a whole bunch of numbers, okay? That's where -2 would be. And then I'm going to go up to +3, and that's where B is going to live. So A is done, B is done. I'm going to keep going down the list. If you run into a point that you don't understand or you're not sure where I got it from, ask your teacher, leave us a comment, something, and we'll help you out, okay? All right, C says -1, -4. So I'm going to go left 1, down 4. That's where point C is going to live. D is +3, -1. So I'm going to go right to +3, down to -1, and that's going to be point D. And then these last two are a little bit tricky. But if your x value is 0, that just means you don't go left or right. You stay right there in the middle, and then you're going to go up to +2, and that's going to be point E. F will be the opposite. This time I am going to go left to -4, but my y value is 0. So I'm not going to go up or down. It's going to stay right there on the axis, and that's going to be point F. And I'll tell you those two right there, E and F, I think that's what confuses people the most, not just 6th, 7th, 8th graders, even high schoolers, right? That's what confuses them the most, is those points that have to be graphed on an axis. So just be really, really careful with those. There's going to be lots of opportunities to practice. The last little thing that we're going to do with points and the coordinate plane today is the opposite. We're going to write down the ordered pairs for some points. So I'm going to get some parentheses set up and a comma, because I know that's how I'm going to write my ordered pair. Or I'm going to maybe call them directions. I know that's how I'm going to write my directions out. So how do you get from the origin, which is right there? I'm not leaving that point there. But how do you get from the origin to point A? That's what we're going to give directions for. So you go left or right first. So we go right 2 spaces over to +2, and then up 2 spaces to +2. So the ordered pair for A is 2, 2. The ordered pair for B, I'm also going right. I go right 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to put a 3 there. But then instead of going up, I go down, which means my y coordinate will be negative. So I go down 1, down 2, down 3. So that's -3. C is on an axis, which tells me immediately I need to be careful. So first, did I go left or right? Yes, I went left 1 space, which means I'm at -1. But then, did I go up or down? No. So my y coordinate is 0. And then for the last one, point D is left 4. So that's -1, -2, -3, -4. And then down 2 spaces, -1, -2. So my coordinate, my coordinates are -4, -2. right? And if there's anything in there that you got stuck on or you're not quite sure if you understand, let somebody know so that we can help you. Great start to the unit.